up guys, happy Sunday, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very highly requested video all about newborn essentials and newborn must-haves. I feel like I should prerequisite this to say some of these items are obviously not must-haves, they are slightly more of an indulgent purchase, but the ones that I'm including are the ones that I absolutely love and I'm really happy I spent the money on, so I thought it was worth adding them in. I'm also going to chuck in some of my newborn regrets. I have to say the must-haves and love list outweighs the we've chucked it away list, but there was definitely a few which we've overspent on and one item in particular which was quite expensive. You feel like it's a bit of a must-have. We certainly felt like it was on the essentials list and I think we could have got away with not using it at all from the word go. So without further ado, let's dive into my newborn essentials, must-have and regrets. Item number one, the rocket. I don't know if anyone can guess what this is for, but we all know, or most babies love to be rocked when they're falling asleep, which is really cute and really sweet when they fall asleep in your arms, but keeping on this like rocking motion the whole time is just not ideal. So the rocket was invented to replicate that kind of rocking motion, and I've actually just clipped it away from the pram, but it has this little circular hook that attaches to the pram, or I guess the crib if your crib would suit it well, but we have it on the pram, and you just press this little button and then it has a rotating power, and then this will gently, like this, rock the pram, and we found it so helpful for putting Alfie to sleep. We only bought this about 2 weeks ago and we've been using it every single day. I've only just managed to take it off Jack and Alfie downstairs. So yeah, the rocket, really good little purchase. I don't think it was too pricey and it's just been super helpful for putting him to bed and helping him fall asleep, which in my books is worth every single penny. I'm just gonna jump in here to say I'm still wearing all of my maternity clothes. These jeans are actually my maternity jeans, and this top is a maternity top from ASOS, but I'm in this like awkward stage of not being able to fit comfortably back into my jeans. I mean, I can fit in them when I'm standing up, but when I sit down I'm like, I'm gonna need to undo a button. So I'm still wearing my maternity stuff, and I've decided that my next real investment is a nice pair of white jeans. I feel like they're really hard to come by. Either they're see-through or they kind of really baggy on the bottom. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but anyway, maternity clothes do last more than just pregnancy, I tell you that. Number two on the essentials list. So obviously you have baby grows, and then there's button baby grows, there's popper baby grows, and then you have these. I feel like these are the creme de la creme of baby grows. We actually got this size yesterday because I can't believe it, but Alfie is already outgrown his 0 to 3 months. This boy is 6 weeks old and he's too long for these, but I loved this blue. This was one of my favorite ones. So the reason why these are so essential, first of all, if you have a boy, please someone tell me how to try and make sure you pretty much don't have to change them every time you change their nappy, because I try and hold that willy down, I really do, gently, with a little towel or put something over it, but somehow he just seems to like get the pee-pee back up on his clothes. So anyway, this is great for changing, especially in the nighttime changing, because instead of having to undo all the poppers, you have this little zip, and I covered this in my nursery tour actually, but I'm just doing it again because I feel like it's a must-have. Oh, I did that the wrong way. It may seem simple, but I'm telling you now, when you do it like 10, 20 times a day, it is so helpful to not have to redo poppers every single time. The zip just makes life so much quicker and so much easier. These are from Pure Baby. They're a beautiful organic Australian brand that do really lovely baby stuff. Now, disclaimer, we did only buy this product a few days ago, but I already know it's going to be a game changer, so I wanted to include it early doors, but I'm more than happy to do a review later on. If you watched my newborn routine, daily routine, you'll know that at the time Jack and I were sleeping in separate rooms, one of us in his nursery watching over him in the crib, and one of us in the main bedroom, and we felt like that was the only way we could both get undisturbed sleep. We have changed that. I think we just both felt like we should figure out ways that were more sustainable for the long run rather than kind of just doing everything short term. So we are now back in the same room, which then obviously raises the question of SIDS. So they do recommend that you sleep in the same room as your baby for up to 6 months. But after doing a sleep course and consultation the other night, they just kind of reassured us that actually it's okay if that's our choice to move into our own room, as long as we have something that will warn us or monitor him in a really effective way. So in comes the owlet. This is a tiny little sock that goes over Bubba's foot. I'm not doing this in the right way. I think it loops around like this. Why is this not focusing? So this loops round Bubba's foot. It's connected to a little monitor which is currently charging, and it tracks their heart rate, it tracks their breathing, and basically just puts you at ease. And if anything goes wrong, if anything's not if they're not breathing correctly or their heart rate slow down or whatever the case may be, then an alarm goes off. We've invested in the Owlet. It's not cheap, but I feel so much better sleeping at night. We obviously do have the sound on from his monitor, so I can hear him the whole way through the night anyway, but this is just an added measure of safety just to kind of put my mind at ease. And I just think, yeah, bit of a newborn essential, bit of a newborn must have. Make sure your baby's safe. I'm just gonna add here that I realise a lot of mums might say to me, you should be sleeping in the same room as your baby. Please don't judge, it's just what we've decided to do. It's obviously not right or wrong. And I know many people stay with their kids up until 6 months, a year onwards, but yeah, it's what we've decided to do, and we're taking as many protective and precautious measures as we can. So please don't hate on me. Next up is a bit of I wouldn't say love-hate product, a love testing product. This is the Love to Dream Swaddle. I probably should have got this all done. So first of all, this is their bamboo material version of the Love to Dream Swaddle. If you've already heard of it, I would recommend getting the bamboo one because bamboo is naturally, I think the word is thermoregulating. Basically, it helps regulate baby's temperature, whether it is a cold environment or hot environment. So it's a really good one to have as climates change and all the rest of it. Plus, if you're putting them to sleep during the night versus during the day, you may have more layers on during the night and less layers on during the day. We first started with this when Alfie was first born, and it was great and all good. And then we felt like weeks kind of 2 to 4, he didn't like it. We were going back and forth between sleeping bags, between straight arm down swaddles. We tried this a few times, and I think our issue was our lack of consistency with a certain type of swaddle. And now we have come back to the Love to Dream, and it's working wonders. He really likes it. So this is really good because it's tight around the torso, so they feel all snug. It's all meant to represent them being in the womb, but then it's looser around the bottom so that they can use their legs. It's also got the same handy thing here where you have a zip up from the bottom, so again, you don't have to unchange them the whole way. Now we're trying to make sure that he wears it every single time he has a nap, whether that be during the day or during the evening, so that he associates this swaddle with going to bed, and I'm just really loving it. So yeah, the Love to Dream Swaddle is definitely a baby must have for me, certainly right now. Oh, I feel like we're storming through this. Okay, I can't do this video without including my diaper bag or my nappy bag, wherever you are from. I saw this bag maybe 4 months into my pregnancy, and I hit save, and I just thought I have to get this bag as my diaper bag. It is so pretty, and if I have to give up wearing my handbags day to day, then I want a pretty replacement. Just a few key features. The pockets. I actually don't have this super organized right now, but the pockets. So many pockets in this bag. It's just really good for organization, lots of different compartments. This is one of my favorite bits. It has an inbuilt cooler bag for your bottle, which if you saw my stories the other day on Instagram, you'll know that I'm pretty much exclusively express breast milk bottle feeding. So anyway, it has a cooler bag inbuilt for the bottle, and then it has little clips here that attach to your buggy, and it's a rucksack, which is really helpful because obviously most of the time with the baby you don't have a spare set of hands. So I just love it. It's the prettiest bag ever, and yeah. One of the things in my diaper bag, which I think is a really handy essential, and I used it for the first time the other day when we went out to lunch. I was so excited. It was our first outing out in, I don't know, 10 weeks, and it was so fun. But I had to take Alf. I just forgot my son's name for a second. I actually just paused and forgot my son's name. But I had to take Alfie to the bathroom to get changed, and you pull down the changing mat and there's a beautifully soft towel there. But I just thought every other child has been on that towel, and while every other child is lovely and wonderful, you don't know which child is ill, you don't know what they might be carrying, especially in the current circumstances. I just think it's really nice to be able to have your own changing mat that you can put down and change Bub on. So this is from a company called Gazray. Obviously I'll link everything below. They do them in vegan leather as well, and they're just great. They fold up really nice and small, so it fits easily into your diaper bag. I bought 2 of them in this kind of grey tone, and actually like this, like a camel beige brown as well. Easy to wipe down when they get messy, and yeah, just lovely. So again, this I feel is a really lovely thing to have in your locker, in your newborn locker. I feel like these 3 products are a bit of housekeeping products, but they have been a game changer. These are essentials. I would put them in the essentials bracket. Jack called this the snoz sucker, which is a horrible way to say it. The proper name is a nasal aspirator. Nasal aspirator. It is like so. You put this up Bubba's nose, just like on the little tip, and you suck up. And when I first heard of these, I thought that is disgusting. I do not want to be swallowing snot, but obviously that's not what you do. They have this mesh filter that goes inside and stops the snot from coming into your mouth. I mean, otherwise how else are you meant to get a baby snot out? Obviously they sneeze, but if they don't sneeze, then I don't understand. I don't understand what people did before the snoz sucker. Maybe that's really basic, but anyway. Okay, number 2, nail file. So Alfie has this little set, it's brilliant. I would always be very, very scared of cutting his nails. I can't wait to get a manicure again. I miss going to the salon so much, and I don't feel like I have the time to paint my nails at home right now, but I am gonna find the time this week, fingers crossed. The idea of cutting his nails always petrified me. I always felt like I would cut his skin, and their nails grow so quickly. I have to do this once every 2-3 days, otherwise they just scratch their face and it's so horrible. I don't understand why they don't have the pain receptors in their face to say, ow, like this is not nice. This is just the perfect little nail file. It changes in terms of the roughness of the nail file. I'm actually using this little one a lot at the moment, and it just makes life so much easier. It's actually got an inbuilt light in it as well if you're doing it slightly in the dark, and I always find the best time to do it is when they're breastfeeding or bottle feeding, whatever they're doing, because that's kind of the time they're chilled and allow you to get in there. Next up, scales. I love the fact that we bought baby scales. They're slightly slanted like this. We just put it on the floor every time, and we track his progress every single week. This week he's put on 250 grams, 270 grams I think, which is just so exciting. He is now 5.35 kilos. So yeah, good little boy, is growing well, but we wouldn't know that unless we had these. And obviously you can go to your pediatrician to get them weighed at the time, but perhaps during the current circumstances you wouldn't want to head out every time just to get them weighed, and actually just feel like it's quite a cute thing to record and do yourself. So yeah, get yourself some baby scales. These are definitely on the essentials list, and that way you know that they're having enough, they're putting on weight enough, and yeah, they're taking enough food. For those who watch my nursery tour, I am sorry that there's a little bit of a crossover with some of these products that I talked about in the nursery tour and that I'm talking about in must-haves, but obviously a lot of his must-haves are in his nursery. Must-haves, a little bit of a night light, whether it's, I don't know, something like this. We have these 3 little bunnies that you just press here and then the light comes up, and they're great because you want to try and keep the room as dark as possible during the evening so that you don't disturb their sleep. Therefore, you don't want to turn on a big bright light or a big lamp. And so yeah, we love these little night lights. They're just super handy. They're transportable, you can recharge them, and just very easy, simple to use. White noise machine is totally essential. I can't tell you how many sleep consultants that I have spoken to, or courses, etc., that have all said you got to get something good for white noise. This little one is a great option. It hangs onto the crib. I mean, it's not the prettiest. This stripe is just not, it's not my vibe. But the white noise is very good, and it is kind of a must-have. It helps them get to sleep and replicates the sound of what they used to hear in the womb. Not gonna lie, I really didn't want to put this in this because it is totally unglamorous. But I would say this is the epitome of what you would call an essential newborn thing. I mean, it's not. You could put the nappies in the bin. But this is the Tommy Tippy bin. The nappies go in here, you push it down, you swivel it round here, it closes it up, and what it does, it completely takes away the smell. Then you bring out the dirty bin bag, and they're just all in their little neat concealed compartments. So yeah, a nappy bin is very, very helpful. Last 2 things on the newborn essential must-have list. So number 1 is this rocking chair. I have seen what obviously when we were shopping, we went through lots of options for chairs, and a lot of them don't rock. They're just this super comfy chair that sits still. Let me tell you, if I didn't have this rocking chair, I feel like I would have had many more sleepless nights, because that little rocking motion really helps put them to sleep. And honestly, it just makes your life so much easier. The fact that it can recline as well. We've spent loads of nights with him sleeping on our chest, fully reclined all the way back, and I don't know, a normal chair, you couldn't do that and it wouldn't be as comfy. I don't know about you, but I hate sleeping sitting up, so at least this gives you some kind of feeling of lying down. So yeah, invest in a good rocking chair. This is probably our most expensive item in the nursery, but worth every single penny, and I love it. Now the last item I have to show you is on Jack. He doesn't love being in my videos, so let's see how this goes, but he's downstairs, so I'm going to take you downstairs with me. Hi.
What are you doing?
So this is essential baby item. I mean, as you can see, it just makes life so much easier. This is sometimes the only way he'll go to bed. This is a wrap, and it's just so much more comfortable than the carrier, isn't it?
It's lovely.
It's lovely. Beautiful. Right, regrets. What are the regrets that we bought? So I feel as though this one is going to be a tad controversial, because so many people love it, and I kind of don't want to slate the brand because of that reason, but it just does not work for me. This is the Hacker pump. It is the handheld, not the handheld, I mean like the suction pump that goes on to your boob and is meant to help drain and get all the milk out. I don't know why. Maybe it's the shape of my boobs, maybe it's the shape of my nipples. I have no idea, but I just don't feel as though it's effective at all. This is meant to pull back like so, put it onto your boob, you suction it on, and then it's meant to come, and it just doesn't. I mean, I maybe get, I don't know, 20 mil out of this. So whilst I love the idea, the simplicity of it, I wish I hadn't bought it, because it doesn't work for me, and maybe it will work for you, but it does not work for me. And then this one is a little bit difficult, but we bought so many bottles, so many different teats of, you know, bottles to make sure that they fit Bub's mouth right. And I think this is worthwhile in the sense that you don't know what your baby's mouth is going to be like. You don't know what they're going to find easiest to suck or closest to your nipple. But time and time again, we were recommended the Dr. Brown's anti-colic narrow flow bottles. I even went and bought the wide neck bottles, but they recommended the narrow flow. So after buying numerous things and loads of bottles, we've just ended up with those Dr. Brown's bottles, which he loves. He seems to burp really well from them afterwards, especially because you can feed him, you know, slightly sitting up, and they're just great. So yeah, I mean, by all means, you can go ahead and experiment with loads, and I wanted to be prepared, but I do wish that I had it invested. And there's a million more of these downstairs. There's so many more, and it was just unnecessary. By far our biggest humdinger of a purchase was, and I'm really sorry to say it because I think the brand's wonderful, but it was the Snooze Pod. It's the same brand that I have my white noise machine from, which I think is great, but in general, I mean, not just a Snooze Pod, because it wasn't their product in particular, but it was just in general a bedside crib. So I know probably 90% of mums sleep with a bedside crib for months with their baby, but we had Alfie in our room for about, I don't know, 3 nights, and I found it just impossible to sleep. Like every single noise that he would make, even if it was just a little I would wake up, I would check on him, I would constantly be panicking whether he was breathing, whether he was okay, and the fact that he was just there meant that I constantly checked on him. But more than that, the ease of it is that you're meant to be able to sit down the sides and then roll baby out and whack him on the boob, and super simple. But honestly, I find it really uncomfortable breastfeeding in bed and bottle feeding in bed. You don't really have all the props to like put your arm up on. My neck and back were in agony, and so now every time that he needs feeding during the night or needs a cuddle, we will come in here, we'll be on the rocking chair. This is what the nursery was built for. It was built to have Bubba in, and for the first 5 weeks, for safety measures, as I said before, one of Jack or I would sleep in this nursery with him in his cot. But now that we have the owlet, we are starting to change that. So yeah, the bedside crib is quite an indulgent purchase. I didn't find it easy, which I think is the purpose that it's meant to serve. It's meant to make your life easier. It didn't make my life easier, and unfortunately it was just a bit of a waste of money. Now I know every single mum gets told this. I got told it too, but this is just a tiny little section of all the newborn clothes which we got to put on him for, I don't know, a week, and then they were totally too small. So whilst you obviously need some newborn clothes because you can't just dress your baby in big stuff from the word go, just don't go overboard. Don't make my mistake. There's another 3 piles of these kind of clothes. I mean, he's already fitting 3 to 6 months clothes. So yeah, I mean, I would just stock up more on your 0 to 3 months. I probably just went a little bit overboard. So if you can, don't do that. Last but not least on the list is what I think is one of the most beautiful baby carriers that I saw on the market. It is a stunning beige color. It looks really pretty. And this is actually from the same brand as you saw Jack wearing the wrap of. But let me tell you something, the wraps are by far the more comfier option instead of these carriers. I don't understand why all these carriers, right, let's just, so this goes round your shoulder, right? So what you end up doing is rounding your shoulders round to put the baby on your front, and that's where the support comes from. So you have your shoulders rounded across, and they always make them really high up, and then, okay, your lower back is supported by a strap, but honestly, it gives both of us the worst backache known to man after about 10 minutes of wearing it. So I don't know, whilst the wrap is slightly hotter and may not be as practical for things like hikes and stuff like that, because obviously it's not as supportive as this, I need to find one that is comfier, because this currently kills our backs, and whilst it looks nice and whilst we thought it would be great, it's just not. So I'm hoping I can find one that doesn't round your shoulders as much, doesn't, yeah, kill your posture, which is sad because they're a really nice company, but sorry guys, just not that carrier. That is a wrap. All my newborn essentials, newborn must-have, and a few of my top newborn regrets. I'm sure there'll be many, many more to come. But yeah, that is my update for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Please do hit subscribe if you want to see videos every single Sunday, and feel free to go ahead and follow me over on Instagram too, where I'm super active on stories and posts most days. Thank you for tuning in. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment below so I can get to know as many of you as possible. Lots of love, and see you next Sunday.